Good afternoon, friends. Welcome to the Palace Pier here in Brighton. I'm here with my niece. We've been on lots of rides. Wave, Iris.
Hi!
We've been on lots of rides, and that is Brighton. That right there is the West Pier. It's just a superstructure now, as it burned down in 2003. Both of these were built in Victorian times, so the Palace Pier has been expanded and built and rebuilt and repaired. The West Pier was derelict for a very long time because it had its bridge taken away, so it was extant from the land for quite a long time, because that was done to prevent a potential Nazi invasion, using it as a foothold to gain land access. But it was never opened again. And in 2003, it burned down, and now all that's left is the old lady's skeleton. Anyway. Excellent work. Class 1. Stay there. Go. Nice. Hello again, friends. So behind me there is, as mentioned earlier, Brighton's West Pier. Just the superstructure left, and well, one day, very soon, it will no longer be there. This is the first place I come when I hit Brighton, when I come home, and look for drops of holes in, because that is really Brighton for me. Nice. Nice. Actually quite a good video. Okay, video.
I was doing the tuk-tuk in London. Where have you been, Iris? To Brighton. Was it good? Did you love it? Yeah. Oh, you had the best night ever?
Hello, friends. So, I'm just at a local hospital having a health check. I'm fine. And I noticed this on the wall. The deepest hand-dug well in Great Britain, at 1,285 feet, is about the same height as the Empire State Building. And if we go outside, the stuff you find, man. And this is it. All the way down. Anyway. I'm fairly sure that's supposed to be Shania Twain. Good afternoon, friends. So, after meeting up with a rather lovely close friend yesterday, on the rainiest day I've seen in this town for a while, the storm's blown itself out. It's Sunday in Brighton, and it's a beautiful day. This here is the North Lane, which is a grid of streets with kooky cool independent shops, bars, restaurants, massive amounts of foot traffic, and some very smug people who bought flats and houses here 50 years ago and are now sitting pretty on 5 times their money. It's a very cool place to be. I'm just walking through to the centre of town, and going to get myself some food, and then seeing some more close friends this evening. This is a classic. A Bonsai Co. An amazing bonsai shop, been run by the same man for as long as I can remember in this town. Beautiful bonsai trees abound. I'm assuming he owns the building and lives upstairs. And he runs like a bonsai nursery, so if you have a bonsai tree and you're going on holiday, you can leave it with him. He has just out back, it's a forest that's knee high, and he just takes care of them. Nice. Right, this is Kensington Gardens, and it's the pedestrianised part. Most of them don't have much traffic during the day, but this is just pedestrianised, and it's very, very busy with good reason. But I'm not going down there today because it is rammed. This street, for example, is very quiet. It's one way. You only really use it if you live on it or if you're looking to cut through a little bit, but very quiet and peaceful with many very nice little houses in the very centre of Brighton. And on the corner here, so as those of you who know me will probably know, I've been studying Japanese traditional martial arts for 27 years. And this, on this corner of Queen's Gardens, was where we had the original dojo. What is now the fashion school, apparently. On the corner here, we had the shop upstairs and the dojo downstairs. And I spent 13 glorious years studying and doing martial arts in the basement here. This here, there is a coal chute, as was many years ago. And when someone was late, they'd stamp on that, and downstairs would hear it and open the door. Yeah. Long time. Right, so a point just to clarify. In Brighton you have an area called the Lanes, which is one of the oldest parts of the city. The city itself is not actually that old, 5 centuries, a little less. Once called Brighthelmstone. That is Comedia, a cinema and venue place. But the north, the lanes, spelt like lane, like Lois Lane, because they are little narrow pedestrianised alleyways. This is the North Lane, which is L-A-I-N-E, meaning an old kind of field. So it was called the North Lane when it was still a field, and of course now it's been buildings for quite a long time. But that's okay. So anyone who says the North Lanes, plural, is not correct. Anyway, so this street's closed off for the weekend. Tables everywhere for drinks and food and sitting in the sunshine, which is glorious today. It's pretty cool. Just overheard a conversation. One of the nicest parts about coming home is you understand everything everyone's saying, so you can't help but eavesdrop. Walking past someone and the lady was saying to her crew, "I was in one of these pubs around here," and everyone else laughed and said, "Oh really, one of these pubs?" This area of Brighton has more pubs per square mile than almost anywhere else in the country. They're just literally, absolutely everywhere. Anyway, about to hit Bond Street. Actually, I'm gonna walk down to the Dome and the Pavilion. Yeah, good idea. Okay. An institution which unfortunately is shutting down. That is Dockerell's, in a very old kind of painted pebble building. Dockerell's, which is a hardware store, an ironmongers, locksmiths, that kind of thing. And it's 3 generations of the same family. But they are selling up now. It was on Facebook and everyone was extremely sad about that. Anyway. Alright, so the Dome, which starts there and carries on behind all these buildings, is a huge concert hall that is part of the whole Royal Pavilion complex. And that is Mrs. Fitzherbert's, a nice Irish pub. One of my favourite memories of this town is on one of the rare occasions my wonderful parents came across. We went to a Japanese taiko drum recital at the Dome, which was absolutely fucking brilliant. and then came around the corner, went into Mrs. Herbert's for a drink, and there was a traditional Irish band playing. The juxtaposition was so much fun. Fast approaching the Pavilion Gardens on that side, and the Theatre Royal there, which is, if you like, it's the number one theatre in the city. Nice place. But I'm going to walk into the gardens. I love this town. I think my niece Iris, with whom I came to Brighton into the centre for an Uncle Jesse and Iris Day, and she counts how many times I say that. I think that day got to 6. She was like, "That's 6, Jesse." So behind me is the Royal Pavilion, an iconic Brighton landmark. Absolutely beautiful place. Honestly, for me at least, the outside is my favourite part. The inside is a little too opulent and gilt for my liking, but it is absolutely beautiful. It's on the London Road. This road goes from the very seafront where the pier is, cuts straight up and splits into both the Lewis and the London Road. So this is very visible. As you can see, it has a distinctly subcontinental flavour. There was quite a craze going on architecturally at the time, but to make something to this degree, King George IV, 1784, construction began and carried on until about 1820. And like I say, absolutely stunning. And the people of the city just care about it. There's some rot was recently discovered, like literally a couple of weeks ago, in one of the small domes, like woodworm, rot, and the whole thing, like just the whole dome was in danger of collapsing. They put out a GoFundMe, like asking for people who cared to donate. They had a target of £17,500, and that target was smashed. £27,000 was donated in a matter of days. That the organisers just were stunned at that kind of uptake, which is very, very nice. Yeah. Very cool. Behind this is at the front. These gardens are actually quite rarely opened. In the Christmas, there's an ice rink that goes here, which is lovely because, of course, lights and everything. Behind this is Pavilion Gardens that I walked through, and the dome, and it's a complex. Really at the seafront part of Brighton. Yeah, very cool. Always love that tree. Spent many a nice evening under that tree. Right, this is the aforementioned lanes, a little maze of narrow pedestrianised alleyways with fairly well-to-do shops, again, a whole big bunch of pubs, antique shops, and a massive amount of jewellers. One of my oldest friends, Mads, who is an incredible jeweller, she worked in a jewellery shop making fantastic things out of precious metals and jewels, about 2 blocks that way. But if you want a wedding ring, or an engagement ring, rather, then come here, because there are so many in a small area. There's just a massive amount of choice. And of course, you know, I think the competition kind of keeps their prices to a reasonable degree. You know, an awful lot of vintage jewelry here. Yeah. Anyway. And that is Black Street going all the way down to the sea. And the Black Lion, pretty good pub, very old. Brighton Beach. Always a classic. Well, having had a fairly pleasant day wandering around my beloved Brighton in the sunshine, just walking up to my friend's house where I'm staying tonight. That one behind me there, you see the spike hanging down? That top floor was my bedroom when I was 21 years old.